let us discuss static data members. Okay, so we have already discussed about the data members of a class. Data members of a class are nothing but variables. So we have discussed so far the data members can be of a private section or in a public section, isn't it? Now we introduce another new concept called static data members. Got it? So, so if you know the what are the meaning of static? Static means what? Constant. Okay, or same. Hmm? Same. That's what it means. That means without changing. That's what it basically means. Static. Okay. Now let us see that. What are the basic first? No, to understand the static data members. First, let us discuss the basic characteristics of static data members. So static data members are basically a kind of the data member which will use the built-in data types, but only the difference here is it is initialized to 0. The static data member will be initialized to 0 when the first objects of its class is created. Okay, after that no other initialization is permitted. So initially when a first object is created, okay, it is initialized to 0. Okay, then after that you cannot initialize with new values. Okay, that's the first characteristics. Second characteristics is only one copy of that member is created for the entire class and it is shared by all the objects of that class. Got it? So a static data member, it will have only one declaration inside the class. Got it? It's for the entire class. One copy of that member is created for the entire class and is shared by all the objects of that class. As you know, objects are nothing but a variables of a class. So whatever the contents of class, the object also it consists of, isn't it? Okay. Then after this, and the static data members, isn't it? So this is one of the kind of a storage we have discussed, isn't it? Storage classes. It is visible only within the class and its lifetime is the entire program. Lifetime is entire program. So static data members can be visible only within the class and it has a lifetime for the entire program. Throughout the execution of the program, this variable will have a validity. Okay. The next one is the static variables are normally used to maintain values common to the entire class. Common to the entire class. So when you want to maintain one value common for the entire class, you may be having multiple functions, but inside that if you use a static variable, so wherever the static variable present, it will have the same value. But only thing is it can get updated. Even if it gets updated, still it's going to have a same value across the program. Hmm? So generally use of the static variable is it can be used as a counter that records the occurrences of all the objects, isn't it? For an example, you want to count some events, isn't it? Then what we can do, we can use this kind of static variables. So probably you may be knowing the kind of kind of visitor counter in the websites, isn't it? So or even we can say the number of views for a YouTube video or a Facebook and all. The same thing, the same concept here. The static variable is being used here. So wherever you use for that particular video or so, there will be a, in whichever system you use. Okay, so that particular variable will have the same value. If there are 100 views, in take n number of system also, it will show 100 values, 100 views only, isn't it? So like that, the static variables are used. Static variables are used to maintain a common value in a different parts of the program. Even if the value was changes, still it is going to be common across the program. That's what basically it means. One simple example, let us discuss here. Okay. So let us see that. I'll just zoom it and see. So it is opened here. So as it gets opened, we can see that here. So what I have a hash include IO stream. That is a header file for us. Then using namespace std is going to be a ANSI C++ construct. Now a class called item is defined here. Class called item. And you can see that now here, this is like any other variable declaration only. But only thing is the a qualifier, a storage class is being used here. Storage class is being used here. What the storage class name? That's called static. Storage class is called static. So the static only it gives the scope of the variable and also the lifetime of the variable. As we discussed, the static variable can be seen only inside the particular class, and also it has a lifetime till the end of the program. And as we've seen in the characteristics, static variables are going to retain the same value across the program at any given instant, isn't it? Okay, then int number, int number. So static int count, int number. Then, so these are the two data members for us. Then what do we have? Public, public, isn't it? So in the public section, we have the member functions. So what is the member function? Get data is the member function. It takes it takes in one argument called a, and it's of the integer type and does not return any data type. So what it does, through a, whatever the value is received, that is given to the private section, private data member number. Okay, then a is good number. Then so get data is incremented by 1, count plus plus, count plus plus. Then what will become count? Count will be 1 over here, isn't it? Okay, next void get count. Get count is another member function which now does not take any argument and nor returns any value. So you can see that cout statement is used just to display on the screen count. The cout, the count is going to be the count this variable value, isn't it? So it depends on how many times you invoke get data, this count also will get updated. Count also will get updated. And very importantly, when you use a static variable, yeah, when you use a static data member, what do we have to do? You have to specify after the class, okay, you have to use the scope resolution operator and specify that you are using a static variable called count, which is of integer data type and belongs to an item, belongs to a class item by using the scope resolution operator, using the scope resolution operator. Okay, now what will happen here? The main program. So that's a class part. After class, you're going to declare this particular part. Then we'll have a main program. So in the main program, for an item, we get three classes. So we get three objects, A, B, C. For item class, we get three objects. So for every time, what do? We get the count value, isn't it? Get count value, isn't it? So get count. In a get count, if you look into it, it is the get count member function. In the get count member function, we are not doing any operation on the static member. It just we are going to display the value of the count. Okay, so as we display the value of the count, initially all will be having a value 0, 0, 0. So everywhere now if you look into it, the count value will be 0, 0, 0. Then what do? Now we access this particular member function through each object, through each object. Now get data is a common member function for any objects, isn't it? For any objects. So A object, B object, C object. For A object, by passing 100, we are passing a value into a number. Okay, can see that here data it's going to have what? Get data, it's going to receive the integer value that is passed on to the number ultimately. So in A object, the number will have the value of 100. In B object, the number will have the value 200. In C object, the number will have the value 300. Okay. So no, but only one thing you need to understand here: get data, get data, get data, get data. So first time you are invoking here, then the 0 becomes 1. So at that time, if you look into it, all the C count value, wherever you use the count, it will have the value 1. First time you are invoked. Then again you are invoking the get data. Third time also we are going to invoke, isn't it? Now, after that, if you get the A dot count, B dot count, C dot count, now all the count, okay, for all count, either you could call it through A object or B object or C object. Since it's going to be have a same value, the count value will be 3. In all the objects, the count value will be 3. Understand? And finally we return the program by mentioning return 0 over here. Understand? Okay. Next, we discuss about static member functions. Static member functions. So first we discussed about static data member. So that means a data member can be static. Data member can be a static. When you declare a data member as a static, so throughout the program, it maintains a common value or same value for every places. In every places where you have the static variable, all will have the same value throughout the program, but the value can be updated, isn't it? Okay. Now, what is a static member function, isn't it? So now here, first let us look at the properties. So static function can have access to only other static members of the same class, isn't it? So static member function cannot access to other data members, isn't it? Only access to only other static members of the same class. So only the static data members can be accessed by static member function, isn't it? So that is what basically we use the static member function. And static member function can be called by using the class name. When you call the member function, we can call it by using the class name that we will discuss now. How? Class name colon function name. Class name call function, that we will see that how it's going to be called. Okay. Now let us see this example here. So this example illustrates the use of static member function. Okay. So now what do we have here? We have the header file, then the ANSI C++ construct. Now here it is used a class called test, a class called test. So now inside the class, what do you have? You have a integer variable code, and next you have static member variable, isn't it? Static data member that is of integer type. So count is the variable and it is a static, and it's qualifier basically. It uses a static. Okay. Next, what do we have? The public section. In the public section, you can see that here void set code void, void set code void. So what it will do? So it will increment the value of the count. It will increment the value of the count and pass it to the code value. Pass it to the code data member, isn't it? Then show code. Show code object number is just going to be displayed on the screen, and code value whatever is there, that is going to be passed here. Now here we have a static member function. This is called static member function. Static void show count void. That means show count is the member function name, and void means no argument input arguments, and this void means no return data type. Okay, so what it does basically, it uses the count argument, that count static data member, count static data member. So we cannot use any other data static data member inside this static member function. That's the specialty of static member function. It can be used, it can access only the static data member. And similarly, you can see, since we have used a static data member, as we have discussed earlier, we have to specify the uh, we have to specify outside the class the static data member detail and how it is related to the class by using the scope resolution operator. So test is the class name, count is the variable, it is of integer type. Okay, so like this we write it here. Okay, now here how do we go? So we have the main program here. We have the main program. So in the main program, for test is a class name, and there are two objects are created here. Two objects are created, T1 and T2. Now T1 is invoking set code. So what will happen now? When T1 invoking set code, the count will increment it. That's what we have it here. The count will be incremented by 1, and that will be given to the code. So then what will happen ultimately, that code will have the value 1 first time. Second time again you are using the set code function only, isn't it? So then the count will become 2. Count will become 2. Next, what do we do? What do we do? Just to, in order to access the static data member, what we have specified here, as we discussed in the characteristics part of this static member function, we can call the member function of a class just by specifying the class name. So what is the class name here? Test. Test is the class name. Okay, and its scope resolution operator is used. Then the member function name show count. The show count is the member function name. So this member function just displays the value of the count. Displays the value of the count. So show count is being used. Then another object is used. T3 dot set code. T3 dot set code. Then what we will do? We use the show count, isn't it? Show count. So show count is a static member function, and which is belong to the class test, which belong to the class test. Then what do we have? T1 dot show code, T2 dot show code, T3 dot show code. So the show code, what it will do? Show code, it will just specify the object number and the value of the code, isn't it? Value of the code. So what will happen here? So set code first 1, 2, and because of this it becomes a 3, isn't it? So in, if you look into it, in this particular T1 it will be 1, in T2 it will be 2, in T3 it will be 3, in T3 it will be 3, because these are all basically a what? In show code we are displaying only the code. We're displaying only the code, we are not displaying the count here, isn't it? So like this we can have a static member function which can access only the static data member, and also when you call the static member function we can specify the we can call the static member function by using the class name without using any objects, without using any object. Understand? Okay, thanks for watching.